Hey tribe, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and I hope you like this video. New show alert, new show alert. So this is going to be Growing Up Hip Hop season 4, episode 1. And this is the original Growing Up Hip Hop. If you've watched it in the past, then you know who's on the show, but if you haven't, let me just run through it again. This is a creation of oh god, Lil Romeo's dad. Why all of a sudden, oh my gosh, why did it just totally blank me out? Miller, P. Miller. Y'all, I totally blanked out. Anyway, Pepa from Salt and Pepper is also a producer on the show. So on the show we have, Angela Simmons is also a producer. Angela Simmons, Romeo, and I believe Pepa and Romeo's dad are, I believe, the producers. But we have Angela Simmons on the show. Vanessa Simmons has joined the show. It looks like JoJo might be joining the show this season. There were a couple of scenes with him and his sister, and I don't know if it's just him and his sister or if he's going to actually join the show this season. Romeo, who of course is Lil Romeo, grown up to be Big Romeo. We have James DeBarge's daughter, Christiana. She's been on the show, she's been on the show since the beginning. She's an aspiring singer. Now, her whole talent show, her whole thing for the last couple of seasons has been the rumor with Janet Jackson and her having a sister. I think they're kind of letting that one go this season. We'll see where it goes. Brianna, who is Kendu Isaac's daughter, Mary J. Blige's former stepdaughter. Boogie Dash, Dame Dash's son. And Egypt, Chris, who is Pepa and Tretch's daughter. I think I hit all of the main actors. And then, of course, there are some other people that'll be there. Like Peppa's niece, TT, is on there. TT is a shit starter and a bone carrier. And she is there solely for the purposes of starting bullshit. But whatever. So, this is the beginning of the season. So, you know what they're doing. They're giving you the update on what everybody's been doing since last season. They're setting the scene for the storylines for this season. So, we left last season with Romeo, with a girl approaching Romeo on the street saying, "You got my friend pregnant. He ain't the daddy." Moving on. They didn't even try to drag that out. He just came back and was like, "Yeah, I took a test and ain't mine." I thought they would try to drag that storyline out, but I guess Romeo was like, "I don't even want no rumors out there like that." We did leave off last season. He had a girlfriend or a almost girlfriend, but now he's saying he's single, so something must have happened in the mix. Dame Dash's son, Boogie is a drug addict, point blank and period. His storyline for the last 2 seasons has been he got a DUI he wasn't on the very first season, I don't believe. Well, he didn't have a big part in the first season, but he got a DUI. They got him out of it because it was his first offense, blah blah blah. Then he turned around and got another fucking DUI. So this time he actually got a conviction. He has a DUI on his record. He has to do community service. He's got to pay the fines. But just like drug addicts, he doesn't want to admit he has a problem. He keeps telling everybody, "I'm good. I wish everybody would leave me alone. I don't have a problem. I'm good." You are a drug addict. You have a problem, and I guess that's gonna be his storyline, because Dame even put him out the house, because come to find out, Dame found that he had brought drugs into the house around his little sister who's 9, and Dame was like, "Nah, I'm not doing it." Dame didn't stop paying his phone bill. His phone got cut off. Dame took his car because he was like, I bought him that car and he out here getting drunk and driving. He was like, "I'm not going to have that on my conscience. Like, you're not going to go out here and kill somebody in the car that I bought you." Kudos, boo. Kudos. But Dame Dash got that hard ass, New York, back old school shit anyway. And he not playing that. Christiana, I think I already touched on her. Vanessa, she's just doing what Vanessa does. She's got the baby and she does her fashion businesses and stuff like that. The two major storylines that of the biggest transformation, I would say. Well, of course, we have the Vanessa Simmons storyline where she's finally admitting that her and the father of her child are no longer together. She kind of kept that. I think they haven't been together for a long time. Last season, she kept the facade up that they were together. She was saying she wasn't wearing her wedding ring, her engagement ring, because it was being sized. Whatever. It was being sized the whole time y'all were filming. The whole time y'all was filming the show. But she's finally admitting that her and the father are no longer together and that she's a single mother now and she's just dealing with life as it comes. And she sort of actually gave us some insight, which she doesn't talk a lot about her personal business, which I can respect it from the point of view of you don't owe us anything. But from the point of view of you are voluntarily on a reality show, you got to give us something. That is why you're here. That is what it's about. So if you're not going to give us anything, then maybe you should just be a producer and not be on the show. You know what I mean? I respect the fact that that life is what it is. And I think she was all in until she got pregnant, and then she had to deal with the backlash and all of that of, but this is what I'm going to say about that. And I know this is old news, but just my little 2 cents. I believe she was a virgin until she wasn't. You understand what I'm saying? Like when she said she was a virgin, I believed her. The part where I think she got herself in trouble was when she was saying she was going to wait till she got married. And she didn't. And guess what? She got pregnant. And for whatever the reasons were that they messed around and slipped up and got pregnant, she did. And she tried to make it work with the father of her child. She said, that she really wanted it to work. She thought that was what it was going to be. She thought that's what it was going to end up being. And it just didn't work out. And she never wanted to be a single mom. She never wanted to have a child out of wedlock. She didn't want to be a single parent. And I think she got a lot of backlash because when people say something, we expect them to mean it forever. And you know what? Shit happens. Life happens. Remember when Britney Spears told everybody she was a virgin, but she was living with Justin Timberlake? Remember that? Y'all remember that happening? So I think they mean it until they don't mean it anymore. And I think it was the added pressure from her being Reverend Run's daughter and all that. I mean, shit, look at Vanessa. Vanessa had a baby out of wedlock, and it is what it is. Like, it is what it is. I was never one of those people that was tripping off of it too hard because I was like, I think she meant it when she said it. But it's just a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to do. Like, we can get into all the whatever, but Vanessa Simmons is, knocking on 30? Or maybe she already in her 30s. Like, I don't think she meant she was going to be a virgin forever. Ever. Anyway, so that's going to be, I guess, her storyline this season. And her and Romeo have always had this flirtation thing. I think at the end of the day, Romeo really, really, really cares about Angela. I think he probably thinks about Angela as what could have been. But at the time, Romeo, I think, in much respect to Romeo for saying, you know what, I like you a lot, but I know I can't be in a relationship where I'm not having sex. And so in order for us to not ruin the friendship, let's just not even go down that road. And I can respect that. I can respect that he's saying that. You know what I mean? So the other big storyline, or the biggest change, is Pep's daughter, Egypt. Now, here's some crazy shit right here. Now, Pep is Jamaican, right? She's from New York, yet she's doing some real Beverly Hills housewife bullshit with her daughter. So her daughter is 19. Where we left off, Egypt was starting college. She wanted to go into music, but Pep wanted her to go to school. Pep was like, I never had that opportunity. I never had the chance to go to school, and I want that for you. And so that was part of their storyline, was the whole fighting over going to school. Egypt then lied to her mama, stole the credit card to pay for studio time, all kinds of bullshit. Well, we pick up this season. Pep done bought a new house. Egypt has moved out the house. She's living with her boyfriend. And Pep starts talking about how, well, he doesn't work, so I bought him a car so he could Uber. Where they do that at? She's 19 years old, first of all. And Pep was like, well, I was really worried about her living by herself, so I'm kind of glad that she's got somebody with her. Really? She could have got a roommate. TT could have fucking moved in with her because you was complaining about TT living with you. So TT could have been her roommate. Excuse me. I said, If this ain't some Real Housewives white woman shit, so he doesn't work. You bought him a car. She was like, well, I left it in my name. It's my car. That's even worse. Because if he go out here and he get in a fucking accident, that's coming back to you. What? You bought him a car so he could Uber. Because he doesn't have a job. And TT was looking at her like, the same way I'm looking at her now, like I had to rewind that shit because I was like, maybe I ain't hear that right. Maybe I didn't understand what he just said. Alright. And I don't like this dude because I feel like he's with Egypt for the come up. Because later on in the episode, where they have this big little get together, he makes a comment, oh yeah, I can't wait to meet, ooh, Mary J. Blige's daughter, ooh, but I can't wait to meet everybody. Got my eye on you, player. So that's a big thing. And like I said, I don't, and Tretch let this shit go on. Like, your daddy is Tretch. He cool with this shit? Mm-hmm. I just feel like when you rich like that, like Pep's house, they show her new house. That house is more than big enough for Chris to live there, and they never run into each other. Like, she could have a whole wing of that house, and they ain't never got to run into each other. Like, I don't even understand why she moved out to her own apartment. Like, what's that about? You're 19 years old. You're not in school. You're not fucking doing anything but going to the studio. You don't need that bill. But anyway. So, Brianna's in the studio. She's a great artist. Like, she's a very talented artist. She's a bitch. And she's cool with that. Like, she takes pride in being a bitch. I think that's her defense mechanism. I think that she puts that out there to keep people away because she's been hurt a lot. But for the purposes of this show, she doesn't have a problem playing the role of the bitch. And so she sort of grills the boyfriend a little bit or what have you. You know, I'm jumping all around because this episode, it was just filler. It was just a lot of filler to just give you the updates on what everybody's doing and where everybody is in their life. The big thing that happened last season was there was a big blow up between Christiana and Brianna, who had at one time been friends, and they fell out, and it was a big ass fight because, see, Brianna is used to being able to say whatever she wants to say to people, and people either not responding or cowering to her bold personality. And Christiana did that for a long time until she didn't, and she just kind of blew up at Brianna at the end of, like, at the very end of last season. Brianna, I don't even think knew what to do with it for a minute. Like, it was kind of like, what? So that's like the big conflict in this episode, because Vanessa decides that she's going to have a little, before we get to the get together, the other conflict that happened in the off season is that there seems to be some sort of rift between Vanessa and Angela that I think is going to be played up this season, because Vanessa says she doesn't really talk to Angela. I mean, she's not throwing her under the bus. She's still being protective big sister. But she was just like, I haven't really talked to her. You know, she's kind of dealing with a lot, you know, going through some things in her personal life. And I'm just trying to be supportive of that. But she did kind of leave me hanging during Fashion Week because she was supposed to walk in Vanessa has a fashion line with, I forget her name, but she was one of the contestants on Project Runway. And she said, well, Vanessa said she would walk in the show, but she didn't show up for the fittings, and then she didn't show up for the show. And she really left us hanging. And so she said, I really haven't talked to her. So that's going to be a conflict there. You know, we'll see how that plays out. But the final little scene of the episode was Vanessa wanted to get everybody together. Well, it wasn't the final scene, but the big climax of the episode was Vanessa wanted to get everybody together to kind of say, okay, it's the beginning of the season. We need to have a little get together. Let's get everybody in the room. And everybody ended up coming except for Angela. Angela wasn't there, but all the other characters, I shouldn't say characters, all the other cast members were there. And, you know, Vanessa had it at this cute little venue, looked like, and, you know, everybody's there. And Brianna walks in, and let me say this. Brianna looked good. She said she lost 20 pounds, but she definitely looked slimmer. She just looked beautiful. Her makeup was nice. The way she had her hair looked really nice. She looked gorgeous. She really, truly did. But she still had that stank-ass attitude. She walked in the door with an attitude. You know, Angela spoke to her, and she just kind of hit her with the, And then didn't understand when not Angela, Vanessa. Vanessa said, well, you kind of gave me a little, we good. Is everything cool? You kind of gave me the little stank smile. And she was like, oh, well, that's me. That's my face. No, it's not, bitch. You walked in there with an attitude. And when Vanessa spoke to you, you gave Vanessa you gave her the little stank shit. And there it was. So, nah, no. Boogie showed up and Brianna was she kind of dug into his shit like, yo, what's up? Like, I've been calling you and texting you and paging you, you're not calling me back. Like, what's up? And Boogie was like, I really appreciate her thought, but her concern, but I really wish she'd leave me alone. I'm good. I don't need a babysitter. I don't need a mom. I don't need nobody telling me that I got a problem. Like, I'm good. So, we'll see. Two more things. The rest of the evening was kind of whatever, but two more things sort of happened that are very interesting. Now, Brianna and Angela Simmons don't get along so much to the point of Angela will not film with her. Like, it's gotten personal and it's gotten that deep that Angela, last season, if she was there, Angela would leave. Which is interesting because Angela is an executive producer on the show, and it seems to me like she wants Brianna gone, she could be gone. But maybe it makes for good TV because she's back this season. So, Angela, I'm sorry. Pause. Let me get myself together. Let me get my names together. So, Romeo shows up. And Romeo and TT are talking, and I wouldn't say they're flirting. I would say they're light flirting. You know what I'm saying? I would say they're doing a little light flirting. I wouldn't say they're flirting. But Brianna was flirting with Romeo. And Brianna actually comes in to the middle of their conversation and breaks their conversation up to the point where TT, she was like, can you excuse us? And TT was like, you mean excuse you like walk away, excuse you, or excuse you like you just got something to say? And Brianna was like, yeah, walk away. And see, that's that shit that I'm talking about. Because TT did. The hell if I would have walked away. The hell if I would have walked away. Bitch, please. But once she did walk away, she continued to flirt. And she was really flirting with Romeo. And Romeo was sort of flirting back. But Romeo, you ever met people who just flirt, but they don't mean it? Like, I do it all the time. When I'm at the bar or I'm hanging out or whatever, I flirt all the time, but I don't mean it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's kind of what Romeo, he was having a conversation with her and everything, but I don't think he was really meaning to, like, flirt with her. And it would be interesting, because it might explain a lot. Like, it might explain why there was so much hate thrown at Angela from Brianna. Because it was, like, almost from day one, Brianna just couldn't stand Angela. And it couldn't have been anything else other than a preconceived notion that you had about her. Either you thought she was going to be stuck up or you thought she was going to be a certain way because you didn't give her a chance. Like, you never took the time to try to get to know her. Now, and maybe some stuff behind the scenes that we're not privy to, but Brianna was just so nasty to her so quickly. It just didn't make sense. But it makes sense if you had a crush on Romeo or you was trying to push up on Romeo and you felt like Angela was in your way. And now you done lost a little bit of weight, you smelling yourself a little bit, and you think, maybe I got a chance. And you trying to push up in there. I don't know. But we're going to keep an eye on that one. The other thing that happened was Brianna and Christiana were in the room at the same time for the first time since the blow up last season. And they did that passive aggressive, we just gonna talk around each other thing. And then there was this one part where they were taking pictures in front of the backdrop with Christiana, Lil Romeo, a couple other people. And Brianna decides to run up and jump in front of the picture and kind of like does a photo bomb or whatever. And Christiana was like, so this what we doing? Like, you can't speak to me, you ignore me, but then you want to jump in the middle of my picture. It was real childish. It was some bullshit. So that was really the highlights of that little get-together. But it was just the purposes of getting everybody in the room and, jump-starting the season. The other thing that sort of happens is we have a scene where Boogie goes over to his dad's house. His dad tells him, look, we need to talk. And and Boogie said, "Look, he found some drugs in the house. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie about drugs in the house, but you know, he act like it was a whole thing of lean or something. It was just the little, like typical drug addict talk. Like it wasn't like it was a lot of drugs. It wasn't that much. But you missing the whole point. And the point, or the major point, being you had drugs around your 9-year-old sister, and you don't seem to think there was a problem with that." So Boog shows up, and Dame is just like, "Look, do you have a problem? We need to send you to a program. Like, what's good? Like, again, Dame is that hard, old school, straight out of New York type personality." And he's like, "Look, do you need to go to a program? Like, I'm not beating around the bush. I'm not doing none of that. Do you have a fucking problem? What's going on with you? Like, I worry about you. You are still my son, even though I know I put you out the house, but I had to give you some tough love. But I have a problem with, I don't know where you are. I don't know what's going on with you. I don't know what's going on in these streets." And he asked him, and of course, Boog like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm good." And Dame was like, "Well, don't you think you at least owe me an apology? Don't you think you at least owe me that?" And Dame was, so of course Boog was like, "I'm sorry." Like, I don't want them kind of apologies. If you don't fucking mean it, or you don't feel like you need to give me one, then you keep that stank shit over there. I don't want that bullshit apology. But that's kind of where that conversation went. And okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that was it. But yeah, that's where the episode ends with Dame and by the way, I love those frames that Dame had on in that scene. Those frames was hot. But and Dame tells him, he was like, "You know what? An addict never says they need help while they're an addict. Like, you're telling me it's not a big deal you bringing drugs into the house. You're telling me it's not a big deal you bringing drugs around your 9-year-old sister." And Dame was like, "Well, look, you a grown ass man. You 26 years old. You got your own place. I can't tell you what to do. All I can do is pray." And again, this is a situation where reality is interrupting the reality show, because I do believe that Boogie has a problem. Like, I do. I don't think this is a storyline, because it's been going on for too long, from the first DUI to the second DUI. So we're gonna see where it plays out. But this is Love and Hip Hop. I mean, Growing Up Hip Hop. The original, because there's a Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta, but this is the original one that with the Master P. I remember his name, Master P, and the Reverend Run kids and stuff like that. So y'all let me know what y'all think in them comments. Peace.